It's a hijacking! I'm taking over this plane!
What you're witnessing right now is not a real emergency. It's a role-play exercise at the Federal Air Marshal Training Facility in Atlantic City, New Jersey. The people involved are actors, but this is way more than just pretend. It's one of the most critical parts of their training.
Awareness and remembering why you're there. Just like any other job, day in and day out, when the things that you've been trained to do don't occur, you're just sitting there waiting for the boogeyman all the time. It's easy to become complacent if you don't have the right mindset. Mindset and awareness, remembering where you're at and why you're there, is very important.
This instructor was one of several we talked to who could not reveal their identities because in addition to teaching new recruits, they are working federal air marshals. And here, they're working hard. The goal of the training is to make sure they're prepared for anything because they have no backup.
Nobody's coming to help us, unlike police officers on the street, where you might have a whole sector of fellow officers coming to help you if you get in trouble or you're outnumbered. That's not the case with us. We have very limited numbers, and we can't get on the radio and call for our backup to come. So we have to equip our candidates with tools that they can use, like I said, to protect themselves, others, the planes, the people on the ground, when you think about it, in a matter of seconds.
And that may mean being ready to get into a scrap on the floor at any given moment.
We try to teach that most of the fights will end up on the ground. Unfortunately, on the ground, it's not a place that an air marshal wants to be. So get to a better position, then get to your feet as soon as possible.
Okay, and these things can go on forever, so you got to have a lot of energy, correct? And how do you do that?
They can go on forever, but what we try to teach is to end the fight or gain control of the situation as quick as possible. You can't be involved in an engagement for an hour.
Can you talk about what you might do to try to end that fight?
Strikes, joint manipulation, pressure points. It all depends upon the use of force you're at and the situation you're in.
Sometimes the use of force means lethal force, and they're trained to make sure they use it appropriately.
Well, we have a motto: fast is fine, but accuracy is final. You only want to move as fast as you can accurately engage the target. Obviously, we want to put the target down or stop the target's actions as quickly as possible. However, if it takes you just a little bit to slow down and make sure you get that accurate shot, then that's what we want. We're more concerned with accuracy than speed.
Air Marshals training is very precise. They're working in a restricted environment, so there's no room for error when it comes to confrontations or the use of firearms.
If a air marshal is missing their intended target, they're still in a fight with that target. That target is still able to hurt them and hurt others. That's first and foremost. Absent that, where is the round going? Is it hitting passengers? Is it hitting someone that doesn't need to be hit? Then we're talking about the aircraft itself.
As was pointed out during the 9/11 attacks, the airplane interior is extremely vulnerable if hostile people are not policed appropriately. So, thousands of federal air marshals are deployed aboard airplanes in teams of 2 to defend against everyone from unruly passengers to terrorists and everyone in between. Just how many of them are there? Federal Air Marshal spokesman Greg Alter says there are enough.
There's many thousands of air marshals flying many thousands of flights a month to protect the airline industry, both domestically and abroad. And it's really important to recognize that the Air Marshal program works in conjunction with many layers of security that begin at the curb and continue through to the cockpit.
The chances of another attack involving an airplane are much less likely because of all the security put in place since 9/11. But U.S. Homeland Security officials say they are worried, not because of what they know about the terrorists and their plans, but because people living in America may be becoming complacent and thinking it can't happen again. J.J. Green, 103.5 FM, WTOP Radio.